Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, you're about to watch a guy literally pull his hair out because I'm about to attempt something I never done before in my entire life. In case you don't know me yet, my name is Mr. Starflux, and today I'm going to show you how I managed to go from this to this. Now, right off the bat, I want you to know that this is not a guide. This isn't a tutorial. This is just the story of how I personally managed to level up my art. It's something I wanted to do for a very long time. Ever since I started on my art journey, I've always admired those master artists, the ones who create masterpieces like it's just a casual walk in the park. But there's a secret. I am recording this first part of the video before actually doing any of the work. And honestly, right now I'm thinking it can be that hard, right? Spoiler alert, it was not that easy. Before we dive into the chaos, let me be real with you. I don't think my art is the best out there, not even close. Since I started my little adventure, it's been a massive uphill battle just to get where I am today. But artists like Sam Does Art, Tyler Edling, Adam Dove, and Special Picat and PewDiePie.
I'm gonna draw a manga. I'm gonna do it. How hard can it be?
This is a lot harder than I thought. What have I done?
Why did I have to draw all these? Why did I decide that to be a good idea, huh?
They have given me the inspiration to want to become a better artist. So knowing what I wanted to achieve, I knew I had to set some goals. And more importantly, a strict deadline to get it done. So what exactly do I need to go from this to this? How on earth do I pull that up? And the biggest question of all, can I actually do this without blowing up my wallet into 1,000 pieces? What do I even study? These are the questions I had to ask myself before putting the pen to the paper. Now look, I am not Albert or Einstein, but after doing a ton of research, I came to a few major conclusions. Let me show you exactly what I found. What you see on screen right now is Jesus. Yeah, maybe not literally, but thank you Jesus, because I can finally see the light, and that is exactly what I needed to understand. Light and shadow.
We're gonna draw balls.
Once I realized that light and shadow were my main targets, alongside with other core fundamentals of course, like form and silhouette, ambient occlusion, balancing hard versus soft edges, everything started to click. Well, at least that's what I think it will happen. And you wanna know the absolute best part of all of this? I can study every single one of those concepts for free. Yes, because we're in the big 26, using the exact same thing you're using to watch this video right now. YouTube. YouTube is packed with everything you could ever imagine. There are so many amazing guides out there teaching this exact thing, but I didn't want to stop at just videos. I wanted to see if there were the deep dive resources out there to help me render characters at the highest level possible. And the answer came in the form of a book, Color and Light by James Gurney. This is easily one, if not the best book I have found to date. And I'm telling you right now, it is the #1 thing that I think is going to help me level up my art. But remember, I am still researching all of this before even touching the tablet, so you and I both know what time it is. Less yapping, more drawing. Alright, so the absolute first thing I had to accept is that as a total noob, I need to take things one step at a time. Shoot, I could have jumped straight into full color. I've done it before, but trust me, it's always been a massive headache. So what a better way to tackle this than with YouTube, like I said before. After doing some serious CoffeeZilla deep diving, I found this one specific super short video. Mark Burnett's digital shading method instantly caught my eye.
So, in this week's episode of YouTube Art School, I'll show you the new coloring method that I've been using. I'll demo how I colored this, going over every single step in detail. Very secret information.
Look, you and I both know there are 1,001 ways to color and render out there, and some might be technically more efficient, but since this isn't a tutorial, I didn't really care. I just rolled up my sleeves and diligently tried over and over to match the rendering style of Mark Burnett. I set out to create my own interpretation of two characters belonging to a friend of mine. With the liner already locked in for both, sorry I forgot to record this step, All that was left to do was the shading, and honestly the best part about this technique compared to others I've tried is that by far it is the easiest way to render, at least for me. If you're interested, I highly recommend checking out Mark Burnett's art school if you want a solid art education without breaking the bank. And not just for him, Sam Does Art Patreon, Tyler Edlins, and so many others are amazing too. At the end of the day, if you want to improve, learning art should be fun, it doesn't need to be stressful. Of course, sometimes it is, but anyways, after a ton of trial and error, this is what I came up with. Look, it's definitely not the greatest render on the planet, but I have faith that if I can keep going, I'll reach the level of these masters, so I just need to stick to deliberate practice, Now that these are done, what's next? Well, this is where I should combine Mark Burnett's technique with James Gardner's book, so let's keep going. Alright guys, here we go. This is the moment of truth. Will Mr. Starflux finally pull off what he should have done a long time ago? Will he manage to render these characters in the style that he wanted? Honestly, looking at it from my perspective, it wasn't as hard as I thought. Really, it was just a matter of separating solid flat colors underneath. At times it started looking a bit muddy of course, but as I kept pushing forward, using adjustment layers and gradient maps, things actually started looking way better. However, even though I really liked how it turned out, I have to admit I was still nowhere near what I actually wanted to achieve. The exact style of reference, I'll put credits below, I don't know the name right now. If I compare them side by side, they don't look alike at all, Don't get me wrong, my art, I don't think it's bad, it's just not what I was aiming for, like I said before, so I got fed up. Shout out to my friend for letting me draw her characters, but I really needed to step up my game. Since I wanted to keep trying, I grabbed my own character and drew him. His name is Kazuki, the protagonist of a manga I've been writing since I was 17. He's a guitarist in the 1960s, but like a 2000 version of it, like in the 2000s. If that makes any sense, I don't know. His dad abandoned him for some strange reason when he was just a kid. His mom passed away in an accident, and now he's trying to find his place in a city that always dreams. If you'd like to learn more about how to start writing your own story, create character concepts, and all that good stuff, let me know down in the comments. I love to make a video on it because it's really interesting. I also highly recommend picking up this book called Manga in Theory and Practice. I recommended it before, I will keep recommending it because it's by the legend Hirohiko Araki himself. I leave the link in the description, you'll be supporting me directly if you buy from this link. With that said, let's try out again. I gave my character a color palette and started drawing. One thing that really tripped me out was understanding how the layers and blending modes stack on top of each other. Honestly, drawing actual line art isn't the hard part, it's when you start messing with layers and trying to squeeze every drop of potential out of the software. After quite a few failed attempts and renders that didn't look very promising, this was the final concept. And now that this is done, I want to make an actual cover for the manga itself. Infernal Mechanica, that's the name of the manga, with Kazuki right in the center. To be honest, as I'm writing this voiceover, I haven't actually drawn the cover yet, just the character sheet itself that you just saw. And just like at the beginning of this journey, it might end up being a little tough, but now I actually understand most of the steps to get there, so I think it might not be that hard, right?